Hello, and welcome to the first session of Off the High Dive, Taking the Leap to Better Communication. My name is Eric Thomsen. I'm the managing editor of One Magazine, and I have nearly 30 years of experience in writing, design, editorial work, and publication. In this series, I will share some simple tips I've learned along the way to help you and your church communicate more effectively, especially in print. I'll never forget the summer I turned 6. Living in Florida, where water is a way of life, whether you're swimming or sweating, my parents decided I needed to learn to swim. They enrolled me in the Red Cross summer training course. The class met twice a week for 6 weeks. We started in the shallow end with floaties and paddle boards. We moved on to swimming, with our feet still on the bottom of the pool, just making the motions with our arms and learning to breathe. Eventually, the instructor let us go into the deep end, our first real swim where our feet did not touch. As summer progressed, we passed the basic swimmer's test and learned how to dive safely from the side of the pool. I'll never forget the last class. The instructor took us to the far end of the pool. One by one, she let us dive from the diving board and swim to the shallow end. That was exciting to say the least. But then, she led us back to the deep end and up the stairs to the high dive platform. "You're ready for this," she told us. "I want you to jump off the high dive and swim to the other end of the pool." I remember the sheer terror I felt when I edged cautiously to the end of the board and peeked over. The water looked a mile away. The instructor might have thought I was ready, but I wasn't sure. I looked back at her and shook my head. She just smiled and motioned me to go ahead. Summoning all my courage, I turned around, closed my eyes, and ended up drinking at least half the water in the pool when I did a perfect belly flop from 12 feet up. Ouch! But I can honestly say I went off the board scared and came up from the water excited. I know that it sometimes feels that way when it comes to writing and communicating. We know we want good church publication and communication, but we just don't know where to start. This series of short training videos will help you take the leap into better communication in your life and your ministry. First, let me offer 2 simple notes or disclaimers. Few things are more frightening than putting something into print. To put your words, pictures, and designs into the hands of readers who instantly become your best proofers. It is one of the unwritten laws of the universe that mistakes become most obvious immediately after something has been published. It is intimidating to think your publication will be part of the permanent record, the story of your church, your organization, or the denomination. Even more overwhelming, to understand your publication is helping to tell God's story. But there is also something powerful about putting yourself in print, offering your message, offering your story, your testimony for others to read, and sometimes for generations to come. Perhaps that is what Paul had in mind when he wrote to the Galatians, "Look at this large letter I have written with my own hand." With this in mind, you need to remember a second thing. No publication is perfect. By the time it appears in print, every issue of One Magazine has been proofed, revised, reproofed, analyzed, and proofed again. Months go into production, and it still has mistakes. Every time. Can I offer some encouragement today? Take some pressure off. Effective communication is not pointed at perfection. Effective communication is an exercise in minimizing mistakes. It's about reducing things that hinder communication. You will never produce a perfect publication. Only God did that, and we call it Scripture. The important thing is to keep improving, to strive for a pattern of constant improvement. And one more thing. Why is good communication, effective communication so important for those in ministry? I can't help but recall the words of Luke, the biblical writer, physician, and historian, who shared with Theophilus the reason behind his incredible work to record an accurate account of Christ and the early church. In Luke 1:4, Luke told Theophilus, "It was so Theophilus would know the certainty of those things wherein thou hast been instructed." In other words, Luke wrote, he published, he communicated in order to build the faith and certainty of other believers. 2,000 years later, Luke's gospel continues to testify to us, helping us know the certainty of the things we have been taught about Christ. That is the ultimate goal of ministry communication, to testify effectively to God's grace and faithfulness. Good communication is at the heart of ministry. It starts with sharing the gospel and continues in 1,000 small ways that make all the difference. In the next session, we will take 2 of 5 steps to better print as we learn to define our purpose and develop our plan.